Welcome back to AFTV, everyone. We got some massive breaking news. Things are really hotting up in the transfer window. Rob Holding's off to Crystal Palace for 4 million. I'm trying to inject some energy. This might be the worst deadline day of all time, Turkish.
It could be in terms of...
It's been rubbish. Not even just like nothing's happening. Okay, Amrabat, but like I just always kind of thought that was happening.
Yeah, that was expected.
Liverpool bid rejected for Salah. Cool. But that's it. Like, no one's doing anything. Tottenham are getting Brennan Johnson. We saw that coming from a mile off.
47.5 mil.
I think Arteta talking about traffic and the Europa League draw are the two most exciting things that have happened today.
I don't know, man. All I'm seeing is our net spend get lesser and lesser with these outgoings, and wonder what the hell's happened in the last few weeks.
The 4 million is the...
Yeah, I'm taking the 4 million off as well.
Can you believe we've made a profit on Rob Holding? It came for 2 million in 2016.
Yeah, people say profit, but we've paid him his wages over the last fucking... That's not... We didn't make a profit on him.
Okay.
All things considered.
That's one way to look at it. Sure. But I can't believe we've sold him for more than... Actually, no, I can't. Look, inflation, all that. Of course, we sold him for more than we bought him. But we bought him for 2 million. He's going for 4 million. I think this is also... Like, I think Arsenal maybe, in some capacity... How do I put it? I think they'd rather get nearer 10 million if not keep him, but I just think he wants to go. They've had him a long time and they know he's not going to be a first teamer, so they're just kind of doing the nice thing and letting him go.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, we held out and we got 1.7 million more than that Besiktas bid 4 weeks ago, so they might see that as a win. But essentially we knew Rob Holding was bound to leave this club, this transfer window. I was surprised it's taken this long. I was actually starting to get worried that, he was still going to be a part of it moving forward, and come April, May, he slots into the back line. And
So let me tell you what that leaves us in defensive options. I'm talking players that are at the club, and as we speak, there is nothing to suggest they're going to leave.
Okay.
Because players like Pepe, there have been lots of rumours about terminating contract. Lokonga, there's talks about him going to Luton. So the squad currently in defence... Tomiyasu, White, Saliba, Gabriel, Kivior, Zinchenko, and then Cedric, who's played right back and left back for us. Would you rather have kept Cedric or Holding?
Cedric.
Same. Go back a couple years, and I know we're now changing our mindset back to what we were 2 years ago. We weren't Cedric haters.
No. I mean... When he came in, even Arteta said this is our best attacking fullback.
Yeah.
And when you look at the right backs we've had prior to Ben White and Tomiyasu and whatnot, he's probably the one that, when compared to Bellerin or Maitland now, has reached the highest level. He won the Euros with Portugal. So Cedric, I wouldn't say he's hard done by, but I wouldn't hound him out or care too much what happens to him next. It is what it is with Cedric.
I think the point, it goes back to the live we had about an hour or two ago. I think the point for me is, if we have some sort of injury to Saliba or whatever, we need to play around the defence, I'd much rather chuck White at centre-back and bring in Cedric than be bringing in Rob Holding to play centre-back. I know people feel differently. Some people said Rob Holding did well last year. Why would you change the dynamic with White? The thing with Cedric is, I think he lacks defensively, but on the ball he's fine. He's got a good cross and, he's fairly tidy. And I would expect we can beat at least half of Premier League teams, if not more, going out with our best 10 and then Cedric in at right back.
Yeah, but then remember I mentioned off-air Brook Norton Coffee. I'd let Cedric go too and then put him in there with Ben White going to centre-back if need be.
What has deadline day become, Turkish? I'm here trying to convince ourselves.
We're asking who you'd rather keep, Cedric or Holding, to make the best of the situation.
I'm doing everything to try and convince ourselves that... I think these are the conversations we have to have, unfortunately. I was saying that El Neni might have to play fullback. Look, I think. Okay, all right. Let's go through this another way. Let's go through this another way. because I'm very wary.
You're trying. I'll give you that.
We're going to go
You're
back
trying.
into the vet. I'm really trying. And I also don't want to just get into like a, I don't want to just vent the whole time, because I still think we've had a good window. For anyone who's like, oh, you're crying, I'm happy with the players we've brought in largely. With the Champions League group stages, I don't think we're going to alternate too much. I think the way Arteta can negotiate this without, pushing every player too much is almost like if we play Saturday, Wednesday, and then the following Sunday, it's almost like one back four should be slightly rotated, and then the next back four should be slightly rotated. And so where you have White, Saliba, Gabriel, Zinchenko, the next one should probably be Tomiyasu, Saliba, Gabriel, Zinchenko, and then the next one is White, Saliba, Kivior, Tomiyasu. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, we should be able to figure it out by basically doing what Pep Guardiola's done for a long time, because Pep Guardiola's not always had a full 22-man squad. He's always had 17, 18 he really depends on, and he's just always picked and chosen really well how to like distribute their minutes. I'm not sure Arteta's always done the same in terms of managing game time so well.
Yeah, I mean, you've read out the names and you're making an argument that it can be all right, but one injury to the wrong player, and
no, I agree.
It all unravels. Agree. Like, one injury to Zinchenko right now with Timber out means that in all likelihood Tomiyasu or Kivior go left back and Partey becomes our inverted right back again. Yeah. Or, he is right now anyway. And at the moment we haven't seen that really aid our play. We haven't really seen that live up to last season's standard with Zinchenko inverting from the left. So one injury to a Zini, a Saliba, we're back to the problems we've had over the last 2-3 years at the end of the season, where it costs us. Backline
thin, says King Raisin, and I completely agree with him. Okay, look, this is a breaking news on Rob Holding. He's joining Palace. Let's try and fairly look back over the 7 years. Let me ask you this question: pre-Rob Holding's ACL injury, did you feel differently about him as a player?
And did I feel differently? Pre-ACL, I would have said I hope that he turns into a top centre-back.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's fair.
But I never looked at him and said, this is the guy.
Yeah, I think that's completely fair.
And when Wenger, did that whole smirk and said, not, what did he say? Not
I'm
all.
Sorry he didn't cost 40 million.
Yeah, that really pissed me off. And that's nothing to do with Rob Holding. Yeah. But Wenger kind of, by using his name and the price tag and acting like he brought in the next Adams for 2 million, it just, and look at what he's done for us. I mean, if you're asking me to assess his last 7 years fairly, not up to standard would be my fair assessment.
Yeah, I think I do personally distinguish between pre-ACL and post-ACL injury Holding. Pre-ACL, I thought he was neat on the ball. Listen, he wasn't John Stones, but I thought he was much more comfortable than he looks now.
When was the ACL?
So it was the 2018-19 season. Emery's first. And Jeremy played that North London derby on the left of the back three, 1-4-2, played really well in that game. Then he gets the injury against Man United. And before that, he'd had, the FA Cup final performance. Let me ask you about that, actually. I saw a little debate on Twitter saying that his performance in the FA Cup final wasn't as good as we all remember. I think that's harsh. I mean, yeah, maybe at fault for the Diego Costa equaliser, but largely I thought he was good in that game, in that final. I thought he was very good against Man City in the semi-final.
Yeah, that's probably his high point of his Arsenal career, but it's also not enough for me to care too much that he's leaving now.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I mean, even prior to ACL, now you've kind of, reminded me when that was. He wasn't even ahead of Mustafi.
No, but I think he was under Emery. I think he was starting to earn that place back, because we'd signed Socrates, David Luiz. Socrates is someone before? No, Socrates was after. Sorry,
that's the first.
Socrates was that,
18,
and then Luiz was after. So we had Socrates, we had Mustafi, we had I can't remember who else. That squad was dire.
Socrates, Mustafi.
Arsenal
I've tried to raise a lot of.
Let's remind you. This will be fun. I think you'll really enjoy this. Let's go through them all. Detailed squad, 18-19.
Basically, he never made his mark enough to become a first team regular.
No, never.
Under Wenger, who's smirking, saying not all of them cost this, or under Emery, who gave him a further chance because of the injury, it derailed. So he never. And following injury, I mean, Arteta came in and stuck by
Koscielny.
Koscielny.
Mavropanos.
Yeah, we forgot about him. So Arteta came in and essentially stuck by. Apologies for the beeping, people. I don't know how to turn this watch off, but I'm gonna put it to the side there. He even under Arteta's he came in and pretty much reshaped the whole squad, but kept Granit Xhaka, he kept Eddie Nketiah, and he kept Rob Holding. And across the last 3 years, he's given them all opportunities where Granit Xhaka, especially last season, some would say the season before, really took the new opportunity and new chance given to him. Eddie Nketiah, people will argue that last season, January, he took his opportunity. They'll argue that this season with Jesus out, he's taken his opportunity. There's no period where I look back at Holding and say he took that opportunity. When I look back at Holding in the last couple of years, I think of that Tottenham game.
Yeah.
And I think of the Man City game.
Yeah.
And him scoring a goal and winking when we're 3-0 down. It's just like, bro, you've been here how long? Don't you understand what the standards are yet at this club or what they should be?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll see you later.
No, yeah, fair enough. He's going to Crystal Palace, everyone, £4 million fee, $2 million more than we bought him for in 2016. I think for him personally, I think it's a good move. I actually think he'll suit Palace quite well. They'll have games where they have to drop into shape, and I think he'll defend his penalty area well. What I will say though,
he's going to be a backup there, though.
That's the thing. He's not a starter at Palace. Anderson and Gehi, I would very happily have at Arsenal.
They're better. They're both better than Rob Holding.
Yeah.
Which is testament to his time at Arsenal. He never really kicked on enough to get a first team move in the Premier League. Now he's a backup at Palace.
Muzika says, this team will go far. Please be optimistic. Turkish, I love all your opinions, but don't be hard on Arteta. We have a really good team, and January is coming.
Oh, please, man. I appreciate the support and I appreciate the love and whatnot. But this whole January is coming thing, I heard that last season, we always hear January is coming, and in January you always hear, well, we'll address it in the summer.
Yeah.
This is the season now that I would have hoped that in the summer we would have gone all out. And then some look at the Rice thing and say, well, look, we've just broken our transfer record. We've signed, one of the top young midfielders for 100+ mil. But when you really delve into it, like I have done in the last few hours, our net spend is lower than it has been over the last 2-3 years, I think.
Yeah.
That one I haven't checked, so don't quote me on that. But it's low. It's at circa 130, 140 million net spend now. I'm sorry, but after the back of a challenge, I'd expect more. And we're here talking about how light our defence is, when really we knew that defence is somewhere we have to. And listen, Timber, no one expected it. But the fact of the matter is, we brought in Timber. We always knew Tierney was on the way out, whether it was Newcastle or Real Sociedad where he ended up. Rob Holding would have we probably needed more than just Timber as well. So as much as the Timber injury was a shock to the system and unfortunate for us, we still haven't done enough. And to the super chat, I'm not putting this all on Arteta but at the same time, he spent 65 on Havertz and we're looking light in certain areas on that pitch. So yeah, only time will tell. And, we're into the season now. The transfer deadline is coming up in a few hours. He's already confirmed we're not signing anyone else. So, and he's been very adamant throughout his time at Arsenal that he has been backed by Kroenke. And I guess the evidence is there that he's been backed. I just look at this summer now and think, is the self-sustaining model coming back in?
Is $4 million for Rob Holding a fair price? That's the poll that's going on AFTV Twitter at the moment, with 58.7% saying yes. He is off to Crystal Palace. Having a medical at the moment, according to Fabrizio Romano, but yeah, it's all going to move ahead. A couple more super chats as well to end the day. 40 Side says, think Arteta wants a small squad of versatile players. Havertz, Timber, Rice all cover a few positions. Players sold appear to be more traditional players in each position. Tierney, Holding, Xhaka, etc. I think that's a good point. I still think we've been left short, but I think that's a fair point. Richard says, outgoings and no incomings. Squad is all of a sudden looking thin. Holding going for $4 million shows how far behind City we are from where we were starting. Yeah, I agree. But anyway, he's off. All of you, hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. Turkish, thanks for joining.
On to the next one.
Any goodbye messages?
Who's next out? Goodbye messages. I've moved on from Holding already, so.
All right. The other goodbye, not goodbye messages. Any other players leaving? I don't know.
Pepe, I'm not sure what's happening.
I think his contract will be terminated and he'll get a move in the coming weeks. And Cedric, I don't know. I actually think they're going to keep Cedric, genuinely. Yeah,
I wouldn't be
because
surprised.
sorry, not to make the conversation really long, but if White, Tomiyasu, Saliba, Gabriel, Kivior can all play centre back, that's actually 5 centre back options.
Yeah.
All better than what we had last. That I'd actually argue that's the only thing we're significantly better in than we were at the end of last season.
But then it gets more technical because you've included Rice there. So then if you include
No. White, Tomiyasu, Saliba, Gabriel, Kivior.
Okay.
But then
So
yes,
it's
you
not
could
Rice.
put Rice.
You
but
could
then
put Rice, but yeah, you take him out the midfield with
Yeah.
which makes that weaker when initially we're looking at that as a stronger.
and this is why I think they will keep Cedric, because I think they'll think at least he's a fullback, right or left back, and then they can all cover at centre back if there's an emergency.
Yeah, well, listen, hopefully there's no emergencies, but judging off the last 3 years,
There's always one.
I wouldn't bank on it.
No, I agree. Or Timber is the emergency, but anyway,
No, it's an
we wish him
emergency in
back.
itself.
We wish him back soon, and all the best. Rob Holding, look, 7-8 years. How long was it? 7-8 years at Arsenal. Fair play. I think we'd all have loved 7-8 years playing for Arsenal. And yeah, there are questions, obviously, that we've talked about the level he got to. But he's got his move to Crystal Palace, and I think he served the club as best he can. And wish him all the best personally. So, Crystal Palace are signing Rob Holding, £4 million fee. And any more updates in the world of Arsenal transfers as we approach that 11 p.m. deadline, we will make sure to keep you updated. Catch you all in a bit.